Okay.
right? And he treated me like like I was his full client realtor, when in fact it
Oh,
wasn't.
he wanted more and more.
So
Okay.
there was a lot of, hey, remember how we talked about my job is to fill out paperwork?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And I
So
told
he
you that
forgot
there would
kind of.
be topics like this that
Yeah.
came up that I would have to
Okay.
say I can't answer that. Remember that? Do you remember that? Right. And so there was a lot of that. It's like,
Okay.
what does this paragraph in the contract mean? Uh, remember, if you want guidance on the contract, you're going to pay more for it. Do you remember that conversation? Right. So there's a lot of that dialogue.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why it's really important to set
Got
appropriate
it.
expectations along
Yeah.
the way.
Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Cool. Keep it up. I mean, here's the thing is, I feel like you tend to have your sphere is, luxury, or at least luxury price range. And so you might not have to go talk to 100 people to hit the income goals you have. And that's awesome. The only push, though, is just to get you into the appropriate activity. Um, and it's kind of like, let's say, for example, I don't run. Okay. And I, was told, okay, you need to go run 6 miles like right now. I'd be like, I can't do that. Right.
Yeah.
But if I
Hmm.
ran, like if I was told to run a mile and I did that for a week or two, and then I was told to run 2 miles and I did that for a week or two, then eventually I'd get to the pace where I could do 6 miles in a heartbeat. And then if you told
Hmm.
me, hey, go run 1 mile, I'd be like, that's it. Right. So when you build that muscle of
Yeah.
getting, having a bunch of phone calls or a bunch of contacts each day,
Hmm.
then when I say, hey, Anu, in order to hit your financial goals, you actually don't need to make 20, you only need to make 8. Then you're like, oh, well, that's simple. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And so it's
Yeah.
not, all of this is not designed just to give you work for work's sake. This is designed to help you build a powerful business. Uh,
Correct. No, I get it. Hmm.
yeah. I mean, there's stuff I learned 10 years ago in my first bold that I use to this day. And there's stuff the very first day I sat in my very first bold, um, I used something that night that made me 10 grand.
Hmm.
Um,
Wow.
so I think I've taken what, 4 bolds as an agent and 3 bolds as leadership. And and obviously taking this one now. So I
Wow.
believe in it.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Very welcome.
Like, yeah. So I guess,
Yeah, I was just going to ask Heather what she wants to talk about, and I got plenty of stuff I can throw at you guys if you want to stick around. And um, if you,
I am working on my draft of my packets. And so I was just kind of listening to you guys talk, because I think, like, if I can kind of listen in the background to what other people are doing while I'm focusing on what I'm doing.
so Anu and I were talking, just to kind of give you a quick summary. Basically, she has a person that she's courting for a listing, and
Mhm.
that listing has a basement, and the owner is aware of a neighbor who doesn't have a basement that wants a basement. And so we were talking about how she might be able to help in those scenarios. So we were talking about,
Right.
like, would she represent the seller and be paid a full commission? Would she not represent the seller and instead represent the buyer? Would the buyer and seller try to ask for some type of, kind of service list, if you will, like a list of services that
Mm-hmm.
would require, or potentially for a lower commission, right? Not 3% or not 6%. I was telling her that I had done something similar in the past, several years ago, where I essentially knew the seller and knew the buyer of a particular property, and I was about to be both of their clients, or they were about to be both my clients. One was going to sell their $400,000 house, and one was going to buy a $400,000 house. And it turns out they knew each other, and they agreed to buy the house together. And then they asked me to do the paperwork for 1%. And I said I'd never do that again, but I did it anyway. And I didn't have to drive the buyer around at all. I didn't have to do any marketing. The home was never listed. I never had to pay FMLS. I never had to pay a photographer. And I just sat at their kitchen table one night and wrote it up for them, and got paid $4,000. The problem is I could have made, had they bought a different home, 24 grand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were
Yep.
just kind of talking about some of the dialogues that you might experience with the buyer and seller in that type of situation.
So Bill, my question is that if I reduce my commission, will the buyer expect the seller to reduce the price of the, I mean, how is that going to tie in? Or does he just get a bigger, net, the seller? Will he, what is it in a buyer?
Ask me that one more time.
Okay, sorry. Okay, let me articulate it. Let's say that this seller has, let's say he wants me to treat him as a client.
Okay.
And he says, okay, my neighbor is going to buy my house. And then I say, okay, I reduce my commission. So the seller benefits, I benefit by that extra 1%. What's in it for the buyer?
Meaning you would represent the seller. You would be paid how much?
So let's say a percentage less. What I told them, if you buy and sell through me, I'll charge you 5% for the sale of your home, meaning 3% goes to the buyer, 2% I'll keep. And if you end up bringing an underrepresented buyer, or if somebody walks in and they want me to treat them as a customer, I would charge only 4%. Am I saying it right? I'm not even sure.
Yes, you are. Yes.
Okay.
By the way, I would not offer that 5% right off the bat. Don't use that as a marketing pitch. I'd use that under like absolute force if necessary.
Because he asked me straight away. He said, how much, there are some people, he says there's some people who are buying agents who are giving money back. I said, we don't do that. We're Keller Williams, they're a big organization. We don't give money back.
Well, that's actually a GREC law. That's not even a Keller Williams policy. You're not supposed to do that.
That's a what? GREC? Okay.
That's a Georgia
license. Yeah. Okay. So I said there's no question to that. But
want to meet Bill's daughter?
Hi. What's your name?
Hey.
See, there's Bill's daughter.
This is Miriam Shana. You want to say hi? How old are you, Miriam Shana? 17! So she says 17, but she's really 7.5.
Okay.
And how old are you, and what is your name?
I'm Annika, and I'm 10.
Hi, Annika. Do you want to say hi, Annika?
Cute girls.
Miriam, not so loud. What are you doing today, Annika? Are you doing some homework?
I did some, and I need to help with some of the rest because for a while I didn't know about something on my computer, so we were printing it out, but we had to edit it on the computer.
Oh, so cool.
I have a lot to do. That reminds me, I forgot to do my schoolwork.
Bye-bye, Miriam.
I don't know where she gets all that energy from. Nice to meet you, Annika.
I was going to ask you.
Did you hear Annika? No. He said, nice to meet you.
Okay, so the rebates are, that's a GREC policy. You're not supposed to give credit back to it,
correct. Correct. So I told him that. There was no question about, I mean, I didn't say it that way, but yeah.
Okay. So what I would do, I'm not crazy about that, but I'd probably do it anyway, which is you take 6% on one deal or you take 3% on one deal and 2% on the other deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would take 2% on the second deal though, ideally. Right. So the first deal that closes would be full commission, and the second deal that closes, if you can arrange it, would be the reduced commission. Okay?
Correct.
Now, that's one option. The second well, there's really 3 options, and I'd put all 3 of these in writing. One is I represent you as a seller. We market the home to the public. Another agent comes along, commission 6%, split 2 and 2, or 3 and 3. Right. The second option would be and then theoretically you use a different real estate agent to buy, right? Or we never talk again. The second scenario would be that just happened and you're going to be my buyer afterwards, and then I'll take 2% on the buy side.
Okay.
The third scenario would be we happen to have an unrepresented buyer call and not want representation. Then I'll do the whole thing for 4%. and that person would sign a customer agreement.
Okay.
Okay. Now, all of those are fine, and you can put all of that into the listing agreement so it's nice and clear for all the parties.
Oh, I can? I was going to ask. Oh, okay.
Now, that's
I didn't
not
know.
public information. That's just an agreement between you and the
Yeah. Of
seller.
course, of course.
Right. Now, if that buyer comes in and says, hey, I want representation, then what you could say is, you got a couple of options. We do technically allow dual agency. You do need dual agency as you represent both parties as clients. Okay.
Oh, okay.
The state of Georgia allows it. We kind of have a bit of a vague policy that says we don't really allow it at GLD, but the truth of the matter is we do if it's approved by the TL. And I approved a lot of them as long as the agent could, for lack of a better way to put it, prove to me they knew what the hell they were supposed to do. Right.
So what's the word, fiduciary? Who is the person that I'm acting as a fiduciary to?
In that scenario, it would be both parties. And then when you know that the seller has a bottom line of X, you didn't share that with the other party. So there are some limitations to being a dual agent.
What is the bottom line in terms of commission for the seller, and what is it for the buyer? How will they benefit? I think they want to know.
In that scenario, they would get the home that they wanted, and they would sell the home that they wanted to sell. So there's not a really like an added benefit necessarily. They would just, each party would have full representation. And it was just it's what's called disclosed dual agency, meaning that all parties understand that.
Correct. But the seller, again, what is the commission going to be then for the seller? Because that's what he is very interested in, how much money.
6%. It would probably be the full commission. Right. So so
it's not in his benefit. The seller would not want this, right? I mean, if I were the seller, and I'm already given him a discount, he would not want this. So he would not want to do it, because why would he lose out?
You would think the first priority of the seller would be to sell the house. So if the buyer wants full representation, are you going to balk at paying for full representation for the buyer when pretty much in any other scenario you'd have to pay it? Right? So that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for them to kick it out. Now, the other option would be like what Pam and I did a couple times was we got an unrepresented buyer, and I said, hey, I've got a buyer's agent. You can be represented by that person. I'll represent you as the seller. That's what's called disclosed designated agency. So two agents that have the same broker represent each of the parties, and the commission there is full. So it's not really a matter of what's in it for the seller. What's in it for the seller is selling their home, right? What's in it for the buyer is, can I get full representation without paying for it? Now, if the buyer, which I think is the question, I'm about to answer the question I think you just asked, which is if there is a quote unquote a discount in commission and the parties are aware of that, is that discounted commission then like credited to the buyer in the form of a lower sales price? Well, maybe. Then it's just a matter of negotiations, right? Mm-hmm. The buyer would say, well, gosh, instead of paying 6%, they're only paying 5%. I want that percent. And the seller would say,
maybe split that 1% between the two or something.
You could.
Whatever.
It's quite frankly, none of the buyer's business what the seller's paying. The fact is do you want to buy the home, yes or no?
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So like,
but my question is, Bill, my question is, if I think it's if I act if I treat the buyer as a customer,
yeah,
and hence give take a reduced commission, to the seller, so it's attractive to him, it's attractive to me, but the buyer gets nothing. He gets the house, of course, that's a big deal, but he doesn't benefit from any reduced monetarily. He doesn't benefit. It's the same thing, unless a seller has it in his heart to say, okay, I'll reduce some, or I'll throw in some of this, or whatever. I don't know.
That is correct. That is correct.
Something to encourage the buyer, his neighbor, to buy the house. If he's clever, because otherwise, why would the buyer because the buyer would understand the equation that he is my customer, and then the seller is the client.
Right.
The
So
buyer,
I
we
would
have to
say,
assume that the buyer would do his research and is smart enough to figure it out. That
well, I would say, gosh, why would I agree to work with Anu as a customer and buy the home for X when I can go find a full realtor and the realtor would get paid and I can still buy the home for X. Right?
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
so that's a dilemma the seller's going to have to make peace with, is to
Yeah.
say, look, the buyer, there's somebody right now who wants to buy your home. And this
Yeah,
is
that's what I was saying, that the seller, if I could encourage him, if it comes to that, I'm just trying to have all my cards out. If it comes to that, maybe I could encourage the seller to, he's got to give something to the buyer, for the buyer to go with this. And also it's their friends in the neighborhood. But anyway, I'll just come to that when it comes. Right now I don't even know. Maybe they all are chatting and talking, and maybe they've already done it. I don't know. But
well, whatever we say would be helpful in any situation. But I think ultimately you just got to figure out, what does the buyer want and what does the seller want,
Right.
and what is the incentive for the buyer to do the following, and what is the incentive for the seller to do the following. And by the way, at the end of the day, it's supposed to be a win-win, right?
Right, exactly.
Like, I'll give you a quick example. The person that was going to buy my home before the one that ultimately did was represented by Pam, right? When Pam has a close, and you could look it up, there's no secret here. When Pam has a closing, I receive a portion of that commission, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because more often than not, it's somebody that was in my database. So we had an unrepresented buyer who did want representation. I assigned that lead to Pam. Pam brought an offer, and I knew, for example, that I wasn't going to have to pay technically a full buyer's agent commission, because half of the money would have come back to me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I was netting $7,000 more, and in theory, I was willing to take $7,000 less because of that buyer. So it's all in the seller's head, right? The question is, what are your other options, right? The fact of the matter is, no one else is lining up to buy your home right now, sir. So how can we make this work for you?
Correct. It's convenient, for the seller. Yeah.
Right. So, I always say you're as good of a negotiator as your next best option.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When my wife and I bought the house that we're in right now, we bought it before it was listed. Right. And I said to the seller, just because I knew him and I was an honest guy, I said, there's virtually no reason you should sell this home to me behind closed doors. Right. The only reason you should sell your home to me in private, meaning not show the world that the home's available, is if you're convinced I'm going to give you more money than anyone in the world. Now, let me be clear, sir. That's my intention. I want this home. What is it going to take for you not to show anyone else? And therefore, I probably overpaid for it. But I didn't have any other options that I was willing to accept. And as a result, I won because I got the home I wanted when I wanted it. Right? I didn't have 5 other options that were exactly similar. Like, let's say I was trying to buy a 3-bed, 2.5-bath townhome in a neighborhood where they all looked alike and there was a bunch of them available. Right? I didn't have that option, so I had to get what I wanted. Yes, dear.
Can I borrow your phone so I could take a picture so I could send it to my school?
Yes. Show it to me first, though. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
somebody says, "Oh, you're a realtor. You must got a really good deal." I said, "I doubt it, quite honestly. I mean, it appraised. I was protected in the contract, but did I get a screaming deal? No, I bought an off-market property."
Right. Okay. All right. Thanks, Bill. I'll let Heather and a couple of others. I'm going to sign off if that's okay.
Yeah.
Thank
absolutely.
you so much. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Okay.
Anytime.
Thanks. Bye bye. Okay. Bye bye.
Okay. Hang on, everyone. Just 2 seconds. And
Not just any picture.
oh, you want to take a picture of this? Yes.
No, you need to take a picture and send it to her.
Okay. Cool. How do I send it to her? Okay, I have the picture. You just need to give me some instructions on who I send it to, and I can send it to her, okay? I don't know how to reach it. Go ask Mom how I can do that, okay?
I can't.
Oh. All right, when she comes back, I'll send it properly, but I've taken the picture. Okay. All right, Martha, how are you?
It's good, good.
We have a new guest on the phone that you can introduce yourself to.
Oh boy.
Yeah, she's a handful.
Uh-oh.
Martha, this is my daughter. Her name is Miriam. You
And
can
this is
see
Annika.
Heather has a daughter named Annika that's hanging out with her today too. Did we get to see you, Martha? She knows how to use the mute button. What? I'm
I
on.
want to listen.
You can't listen. That does not going to help. You want to make a call?
Let's see here. What call
Do
could
you want
I
to call your
get?
mom? Call your...
Yeah, of course I
All right. You
can.
sure?
Why won't that?
I have it tomorrow.
Right there. Right there. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. How are you, Martha?
Where am I? Hold on. Wait.
Annika, let me work. You can go get your computer and work in here. How do I work in here?
All right. My daughter left the room anyway. I'm sure she'll be back. Okay. Who has some questions? What can I help with? Martha, you are on mute at the moment.
I found two.
Oh, how about that?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I've spent about an hour and a half doing a campaign for a Facebook ad using someone else's listing yesterday,
Okay,
which
cool.
turned out really well. But my question was, and I think you had mentioned it, but I didn't know how to do it. The campaign actually starts tomorrow. My question is, do I need to put somewhere on the ad that it's someone else's listing or listing provided by, or do I put something like that on there?
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. Exactly.
What is this?
Okay, I guess I could do it because I did a separate landing page, so I guess I just do it at the bottom to where it's just there, but not, you know.
Yeah, you would just make note of who the listing belongs to.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you can be the
All right.
contact information. And then of course you should have something stating from the listing agent that you have permission to do so.
Okay, so I need to get her to put something in writing?
And I mean, a text or an email is probably sufficient.
You have
Okay.
Amazon? I could probably.
Okay.
See here.
Okay,
Miriam,
perfect.
Look at this one. She's trying to buy stuff on Amazon with her headset on.
Let's see here. What's woo masks? Actually, that's a little boring.
Hey, that's enough.
I want to buy something. I do have a $10 gift card, so yeah. Bye bye.
She won a she won a raffle the other day in her class for $10. So okay, does that make sense, Martha?
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry. It's crazy around here.
I think it's crazy everywhere. Oh.
My wife posted a cool picture online today. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Oh,
That
and
is
there's more. Until dinner time, there might be 9,559 people. That's all. There's already more than 800.
oh, really?
8,000.
Whoa.
Wait.
Okay,
let's see.
I'm in charge of this meeting, sweetheart. I need to
Okay,
focus, okay?
There's really cute things. Let's see
My
here.
wife posted a picture that she did on Facebook of like her in the living room with like her in a bunch of different, she's a photographer, her in a bunch of different like positions or whatever, doing a bunch of different things, like helping her, helping my daughter, helping my son, cooking dinner, you know, serving dinner, being on the phone, being on the computer. It's kind of cool. I shared it on my Facebook. I think we're all friends.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, tell me more.
I'm just going through, and I need to personalize my packets because I don't want to feel like I'm in a rush and miss something if I suddenly need them.
Yep. So here's an idea that I would have in the back of your mind as you're building these packets. Ideally, this is just my opinion. Let's think about the seller side first. So the seller, I think you kind of have two packets, if you will. One is what I would call a pre-listing packet. And that's what I would send prior to the meeting and request that they review that prior to the meeting. And in that would be like kind of it's like a little bio. It's like some evidence of success. Maybe
what's evidence of success when I haven't done it yet?
Evidence of success would be like what Keller Williams evidence of success right now.
Okay.
Right. So it'd be like, my market center sells homes for, X percentage of listing price in X number of days, which beats the average in Metro Atlanta by 3% or whatever it is. Right. And maybe some reviews of you from a professional setting, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be real estate, but like people that you've helped and letters of recommendation, but like, some sentences about what it's like working with you. And just a little bit of information about the market in general and the selling process in general. So that's kind of like what you do to help sellers. And they read that ahead of time so that when you're in front of them, it's more like, okay, you kind of already know how I work. Let's just get to the point. Here's what the home is worth, that kind of thing. Right. And then the listing presentation is not like, okay, here's 50 pages of the market stats and here's 50 pages of like my reviews. Right. So one is kind of like with the idea of what they should look at prior to the appointment. And one is the context and the documents that you might pull out during the appointment.
That's the last one you can do.
Okay, baby.
Okay, wait.
Okay, so then on the buyer side, I don't know that you necessarily need like a pre-buyer appointment. The buyer presentation packet would be some of the same bio material and evidence of success, and would have some slides maybe from Chartmasters that are showing things about like the current state of the market, right? Is it seller's market, buyer's market?
I'll be back. I'll be back.
I can't wait.
Let's look at your
Sweetheart,
Are they yellow?
stop.
Are you teeth yellow? Yes. Yes, they are.
Isn't it great to be loved?
Yes.
Oh, your candle smells really good.
She doesn't hold back at all, doesn't she? Does she? So my idea is on the buyer presentation packet is, remember, I mean, for the foreseeable future, we're going to be doing it online anyway, right? It's like, okay, Heather, I'm going to share my screen with you and we're going to go through these kind of bit by bit. And one of the things that I'll tell you, I don't know if I'm the best example for this, to be honest, because what I found is the more thorough my packet was, it just got thicker and thicker and thicker. And I have a tendency to like want to put in all kinds of crap. And it was like the more stuff I put in, the more talking I did. And what generally leads to the most successful presentations is doing as little talking as possible. Meaning you are controlling the conversation simply by the questions you're asking. And so it got to the point where I would just bring a sheet of paper with a bunch of questions I wanted to ask. Right. And, maybe some printouts of some houses. Like it wasn't like a fluffy, like, look at this award and look at that award. It was like, I'm here to help you sell your house. And in order to be the best representative for you, just have a bunch of questions. Right. And if you ask more questions, then you end up letting them do most of the talking. And when they do most of the talking, subconsciously, they enjoy the experience more. Right? And so they get done with that meeting with you and they're like, oh my gosh, that was awesome. Heather just let me talk. I think I want to work with her. Right? Because people don't want to be talked at. They want to talk. Right? So if you can give them the platform to talk, and you're just like, okay, tell me more about that. So why is that important to you? So why is that important to you? Okay. And when you say a big backyard means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So can you help me better understand what a big backyard is? Right? Look at this picture with me. Is this a big backyard? Right? And that way you're really getting deep with them on getting clarity and detail on what they're actually asking for.
So then we know, like, what do you plan to do with your big backyard?
Exactly.
Is it because you want your kid to play soccer back there, or do you want room for a playground, or do you plan to build like a outdoor, you know, do you want like an outdoor eating area, or what is your backyard goal?
Exactly. And
do you want to maintain it, or do you want it to be something that's more low maintenance?
Exactly. And then what you're doing in effect, you're doing a few things all at the same time, all of which work to your benefit. One is you're controlling the conversation. Two is you're asking a lot of questions and letting them talk, which they enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Three is you're getting more and more detail on what they want and why they want it. And four is you're proving that you're listening to them. And most importantly, you're not wasting your time or their time introducing properties to them that aren't going to be a match.
Yeah.
Right? So if they say, I got to live on half an acre and more because I've always lived on half an acre and more, and I want my kids to have the same experience growing up that I did, and I'm not buying anything that's less than half an acre, so Heather, don't bother. Don't show them anything less than half an acre, because then, number one, you're wasting time, and two, you're not listening. Right? And so the more detailed you can get, it's going to accomplish all of those things. It's going to show them that, number one, you're listening. Number two, you actually care. And number three is you respect their time.
Right. When the last home that I had moved into before coming to the apartment, the agent showed up like a day or two after our closing, because he knows I move fast on things.
Yeah.
With a blueberry bush.
Yeah, smart.
Because he knew going through the process, one thing I did in each yard is evaluate, where can I put a blueberry bush?
Smart guy, huh?
So, and he knows that I'm somebody, I would go out and buy it right away and do it. But it showed him, I never forgot, he went and got the blueberry bush. Like, that's something I looked for in every single place. Like, where am I going to put my blueberry bush?
That's right. It's those types of things that create or don't create lifelong customers. Right.
And now that agent, even though he's with a different company, has even said, like, Heather, I'll help you with anything. Like, I'm not in your normal market as much anymore. I'm in LA more now. Even if I am close, like, I'll help you with anything. We've maintained that good relationship. And so I can't remember.
Send them the link for Bold Pivot. Say, hey, I'm so grateful for what you did for me. I just wanted you to know that this opportunity is available.
I did that right away.
Awesome.
When I had contacted to say, like, is this only for Keller Williams agents or other people as well? And Aubrey said other people too. I'm like, okay. And I sent him the link.
A good rule of thumb is every offering that Keller Williams has is available for everyone. We don't block certain brokerages.
Well, one thing it was good for me to get clarity on is I was thinking about sending it to, I have that list of people that I took all my classes with from the Barney Fletcher.
Yeah.
And I was going to post it there. But Aubrey said a lot of the exercises that they do in Pivot, you need your license, because a lot of the activities you're doing, you need your license to be able to do. And a lot of those people don't have their license yet. But now I can say, now that the offices are opening up tomorrow and you can go get your license, you want to join this program?
Yeah, I would push it, even if they're like a week late, and there's like, one of the assignments they can't do until like a week later. I would get them involved, they're not
Okay.
giving anything like this wherever they happen to be. That's guaranteed.
Yeah.
And therefore, they really just need to, the more exposure you can get them, the better. And even if they flat out don't want to do it, then that's fine. At least they know you're thinking about them.
Yeah. Oh no, I talked to Aubrey about because I know he wants to like grow the center and do things. The daily 11 o'clock calls.
Yeah.
I've been posting those on that whole group on WhatsApp every day, so that there are people on there that might not be from our offices, but they had said that, you know, they obviously don't have access to the Facebook group, but they can join the initial Zoom call.
You know, one thing that we could consider doing if you're interested is, you know, we could pick a day and time, like let's say a week from now, something like that. And it could just be like a welcome to real estate type of course. Like, here's the things that you should be thinking of as you are, you know, building the foundation for your, you know, for your business, right? Are you thinking about a logo? Or are you thinking about, you know, technology, systems, database, models, metrics, these kind of things?
Are you talking about for us, for our launch group, or are you saying you want to present this as an offer to the class group that I took Barney Fletcher with?
I was referring to the class group. I'm more than happy to help you any way I can. So if an offering like that would be beneficial to the people that are kind of like you, that like passed the test but haven't gotten the license, or a license but haven't picked a broker, or they're about to take their test, any of those scenarios, it's not going to be long before they need to pick a broker, or they realize the broker they picked isn't the right one. And so if that would help you add value to them, and that may cause you to
grow my tree.
Yeah, be rewarded through profit share and growing our office. I mean, it's a win-win-win-win-win, because you win, I win because I get a chance to pour into more people and potentially grow the productivity coaching program. You win because of profit share and influence. The market center wins. I mean, there's no reason why we wouldn't.
So if we could set something like that up, I think if we can, I'd like to talk to Aubrey. Okay. And I could host it and have Aubrey speak for a little bit. I'm the team lead. This is what I do. I'm Bill. I'm the productivity coach. This is what I do. Give people nuggets.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody else you feel should be on it, or like like Kathy Ray, I'm a mentor. I'm here for you for this.
That would be awesome. Let's put that together. Let me throw out, I have Aubrey's calendar in front of me. Let me throw out a day and time next week. And let me see if we can kind of eye that date. Give me one sec. So hang on one moment. Could do like, I don't know if it's too late, but we could probably do, no, wait a second. Do like 1:30 on Wednesday of next week.
When is Ignite?
Ignite is,
when is Bold Pivot?
Bold Pivot is 2 to 4 on Tuesday and Thursday, and then they have those kind of open office hour kind of deals Wednesday and Thursday. So we could do like, and you don't have to attend like right at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, but we could do 1:30 on Wednesday. And I could also do, and I think Aubrey could probably also.
Because if we're trying to get these people to join Bold.
Oh, are we definitely?
I think if we try to, I think I should send out a link and try to get them to do Bold, and send out a link to try to have a meet with you and Aubrey. And so if we can.
Let's push for earlier. So maybe, what about 3:30 on, Monday? Or, hang on one second. Or, yeah, let's say maybe 3:30 on Monday.
That works for me.
Okay.
So as soon as I get that confirmed with you, that works for Aubrey and possibly Kathy Ray, then I can post a link right away to the Barney Fletcher group saying, hey, anybody who wants to come here. And I don't know how many people would sign up. You know, we might get 1 or 2, we might get 10, we might get, I don't know.
Totally fine. Totally fine.
But if we, you know, and I send out the bold invite as a separate thing, and I've been sending them stuff all along. And like they were getting frustrated the other day saying, I don't have my license, I can't do these things, whatever. And I gave everybody there a list of things they could do to start promoting themselves and doing things. Like I said, as frustrating as it is to not be able to take the test, you can still be getting ready to hit the market as soon as you take your test.
Mm-hmm.
You can make your social media plan, get your Facebook profile ready for public posting, or create a second account that you can post both personal and public things to, and start posting 4 non-industry posts and 1 industry-related post daily. You can start becoming a magnet now by attracting people to you with the knowledge you share.
Yeah.
You can make a professional page for yourself and start posting from it once a day. Don't share from other people's posts, make your own posts, open a Twitter account if you don't have one, make sure your Twitter handle is your branding, add it to your Facebook and LinkedIn profiles, get headshots, start using them on your account so people start knowing who you are.
Yeah.
You can subscribe to Greg newsletter, look at the older newsletters, catch up on trends and news, and I gave them a link. So I've been doing this kind of stuff often with that group.
Oh my God.
That is fantastic. And you're becoming the you're becoming the person of influence of that group.
Yes.
Right. And you're becoming the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? You're becoming like kind of the purveyor of information and guidance, right?
Yeah.
And you're also you know, you got a great attitude, you're staying positive, right? So you've shared with them that the office just opened, right? So now you say, hey, hop on this call. My awesome team leader, my awesome PT coach want to, you know, share some tips.
Go ahead.
Okay, I need to leave the room.
Okay. So yeah, and so I did send them as soon as I got the thing from Lucy last night saying they were opening. I sent that link to the group instantly. Hey, good news, look what's happening.
Awesome.
And so it's a group of 34 other people.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Because the first day of the Barney Fletcher school, when they gave us all our contact information, the first thing I did is I went home and created a Barney Fletcher class group.
I love it.
And put everybody in it. Yeah. And then the first people that joined, I made them admins too. So and I used the Barney Fletcher logo, so it didn't look like it was just my group.
Yeah.
Became the class group. And so I organized it, but I don't own it. So people don't feel like I'm, you know what I mean?
I love that. That's kind of, I forget who I gave the idea to the other day. Not that I created it, but you know, to be the owner of the community. Oh, it's Stephanie, to be the owner of the community Facebook group.
Yeah. Right.
And so like, you're the one that posts like, you know, hey, does anyone want to, you know, help me plant flowers by the sign or whatever, right? Profit share and downline, it's all about influence. And that's exactly what you did. That you may have been strategic, but my hunch is that that's just how you act. That's just your personality.
Yes.
Right? And as a person of influence, you deserve to be rewarded for that. So fantastic. That's awesome.
But yeah, we've been sending stuff back and forth, and all throughout the class, we shared notes, we did things. And so it's been a collaborative group. And so like, as it gets going a little more, we just have to be careful because like all the people are different things. So I have to be aware of what I'm sharing can be universal.
Yeah. Well, all these people, I mean, the Market Center's deal is that you pay the $99, you, if you're an agent, at the Market Center.
Bill, can you give me just a second?
Yeah.
Monica, is this something you need instantly?
I could work on a different class.
Okay, because Bill and I think we're almost done. And so if you can let me finish, then you can have all of my attention instead of part of it. Thank you.
The Market Center's deal is that if these people come in, they participate in Bold, they have the ability to join a brokerage, they come to our office, they have one transaction that comes from it, we'll reimburse them $99. Right? So this is way more impressive training than they're going to get wherever they go if it's not us. So you're doing exactly the right thing. Let's work on that Monday at 3:30.
Okay.
I'll dress up for it.
All right. Yeah, all right. And their people, this whole group really enjoyed Ennis.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with
I know Ennis.
Teachers. So we had 2 instructors come in. Ennis was only able to do the 1 week with us, and then Susie came in and did the 2nd week.
Okay. I don't know.
Do you know Susie?
No.
She's more dry. She, in a way, I mean, she was more rigid in a way and kind of in line. And this was a group of people that the tone of the group is that they like to collaborate and talk and do things. And so it worked really well with Ennis, and they came through and he was telling jokes and like people could kind of talk among themselves. Like, I don't get this. They could talk for a couple seconds and Ennis didn't feel distracted, and they like technology and doing things. And then Susie came and she was like, I'm writing it up on my little chalkboard and you can't talk if I'm talking. And everybody's like, ah! So,
oh my God.
So it changed the tone. So this is a group of people that they're good at collaborating and they have that sense of humor. And if you just kind of say how it is, like they don't mind that little bit of high energy. So, and the humor mixed in, and they will probably relate to you more if you are more personal than professional.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I try to, I'm just a straight shooter. Like,
yeah,
you know, I could probably, and I won't let any cuss words out or anything while I'm on the presentation, but you know, I think people, they want to see the real person, right? Like, yes. I'm not going to, you know, blow a gasket because my daughter walks in here and wants to kiss me, you know, it's just, it is what it is. We're all experiencing this. Right. So I think that it's more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's more meaningful when they can see that like a regular old person has accumulated this knowledge and is more than willing to share it and is really just wants people to have awesome lives, right? Yeah. I mean, Ennis, interestingly enough, was the first person I told at Metro Brokers that I was coming to Keller Williams 10 years ago. And he just smirked. He's just like, yeah, I wish I could come too, but you know, Ennis is a great guy. I got nothing bad to say about him. I don't know him too well, but he was
great. He made everybody feel like he was there for them, and I'm going to give you the down and dirty, and here's what everybody tells you, but here's this little cheat sheet that you can look at a little more. If anybody tells you, like, if anybody asks about this, I'm going to deny. I didn't give you that, but
yeah, he was always a mentor to me. You know, I was that young guy in the office that didn't know anything, and he was always there, and I was always asking him stuff. He was an awesome leader. And I'm very grateful for our relationship. And he ended up the same mega camp that I went to in Austin back in 2010 that I was invited to. He was there also, and we were at we were there together, and we were at like a little, you know, kind of wine and dine kind of function together, and just, you know, kind of smiled. And a couple weeks later, when I got back to town and I realized that I was making the move, I told him, and he's like, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Right. Yeah. So I always like Ines. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but I should probably reach out and check in.
Yeah, no, he's great. Something that I got that I was going to show you, I didn't have it on now, but when I'm on calls that are more like, I'm more worried about my presentation or how I am with things. I was given this by a friend.
Yes.
And
Light ring. I was actually looking on Amazon today for that.
And so look at the difference when I put it up.
Yeah. And I look terrible right now.
And so it just changes it. Hello again.
Yes, and you can
I was looking at Amazon today.
Stop, please.
You were too.
Stop, please.
So one thing I looked into, because people are always trying to find like that good thing.
Maybe.
Bye-bye.
She needs her time. I was given this by someone who's a dermatologist.
Yeah.
And she considers herself a red carpet dermatologist. And so she's like, before you go to your events, doing selfies, all of that, you can put it on your device and do what you want to do.
Oh, that's nice. So you can that doesn't even have a cord. You just stick that on top of your.
It's chargeable.
Ooh, that's cool.
And so you can bring it with you. You can do the different things. So when you're giving a presentation, if you want to record yourself, you have the good light there.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can put it on your computer or,
Yes.
So I actually looked and found these on Alibaba.
What do they cost? I mean, they're probably like $10 or something, right?
Not on Alibaba because it's coming directly from China. You have to do the big bulk order. It's not through, so I was going to talk to, do you know Etty Lazarian?
No.
Okay. I have a friend who has an event hall and she's always ordering tax-free, blah, 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 because she's always putting the stuff out for her event hall. So she gets containers brought over. And so I found this place on Alibaba and they're like $1 or $2 per unit.
Oh, that's nothing.
And for a little more, you can have them personalized. So we could put the data on it because it has this white spot at the top here. That's where the esthetician had put her logo. And I put one of my things on it that I found from my books because I have these phrases all over that make me think of things while I'm reading them, while I'm going through the one. So my phrase on this one is, success is simple, it just isn't easy.
Yeah, that's a bold block.
Yeah, so I keep as I'm reading the books, I'm putting stuff around. So like my keyboard says, you don't have a business until you've given away every job that needs to be done.
I love it.
So I have these little messages everywhere.
I love that.
Just put, next thing you know, you're going to be putting one on the printer,
Yeah.
on the TV, and on
Printer,
the picture.
TV, everywhere. So,
Follow your schedule.
yes, on my computer. Priority number 1, follow your schedule.
That is your job. Your job is to follow your schedule. Love it.
Are you going to put one right here on the window?
I don't know, I might. I was thinking about putting my dream poster over there.
You put it on the door.
Well, there's one on the door outside and there's one right there.
Here.
Yes, that's the beautiful thing about making a digital dream poster.
And then right here it says, working smart to make our visions reality.
She has one in her room. Stella has one in her room. I have one on my door outside the office. So when they come in to knock on the door, it's right there. Yep. I have it on my desk. But because we made it a digital version.
What are you going to put on this?
I don't know. But because it's a digital version, we can print up as many as we want. And it's the same thing. And you see it repeated everywhere.
Mm-hmm. This is great. You are going to love bold.
Yeah.
Can I open this for a second?
Well, he knows what it is because I actually sent it to the group.
I've been holding off on the light thing, but I'm going to go get one right now.
But this has 3 settings where it gets brighter and brighter.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, I'm going to be ordering those.
It has 3 settings like this
with my my phone number and different things on them, and that's what I want to give out to potential clients.
That's cool. I like that a lot.
This has 3 settings on it, just like this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically 4 because there's also off.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys are great. This is awesome. I I'm really excited for Monday. Let me know when
Yeah.
you're ready to confirm it, and we'll make it happen.
So if you have it on the calendar and Aubrey's good with it, I guess I want to know that Aubrey confirms that that works.
Yeah, I'm talking to him at 5 today, so I'll
Okay,
ask
so
him.
before I put it on my schedule, before I put it out there to them, I want to know that he can do it. And then I also want to know if
Kathy Ray.
Kathy Ray, yeah.
All right, just message Kathy, and I'll take care of Aubrey, and then we'll confirm it by text later today.
Okay, and then we can figure out what you guys want to do. And basically, I think I would just be introducing and letting you guys talk.
Perfect.
And we can figure out how much time each of you get, kind of how they do, you know, the other calls. And
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we could probably each have like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. That's probably effective. I mean,
yeah.
We're probably all flexible, so whatever you think is necessary, we're happy to help.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Cool. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Take care, Bill.
Bye, Monica. Bye-bye.
Bye.